No countdown. I'm late. What's up? Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Monday Night Raw was on last night. What's going on? I'm tardy again. We were talking about tardies yesterday. I was late yesterday. I was less late yesterday. Late today. It was one of those days. I don't know if I set my alarm last night or if I did and I just turned it off. Like I was in the middle of sleeping and like, screw this. But I woke up at 6:52. Do you ever not believe your clock? I said clock. Do you ever believe your clock, not believe your clock? Like, it's not 6:52. It's got to be like 4 a.m. I didn't believe my cell phone this morning. I look, it says 6:52. I'm like, oh, that's not right. My alarm hasn't gone off yet. I'm like, is it day? And then all of a sudden, you're up from a deep sleep and you're like, is it the weekend? What day is it? Is it daylight savings? And no, I didn't drink last night. What did we even? Oh, we had pizza. We had one of the Trader Joe's pizzas, which is last night's was pretty good. I went upstairs and my wife's like, I'm just putting a pizza in. I'm like, oh, do we have pizza? And I realized, oh, it's one of those small Trader Joe's. And I was hungry because I ate, what did I have for lunch yesterday? Well, I had one of those healthy choice like bowls, power bowls, I think is what they call them. Because there's like no calories in them, but they're packed with protein. I don't know how that works. I think there's like, I don't know how many calories, but there's a lot of protein, but they still don't fill me up. I'm like, I'm pretty hungry. Damn. But it actually did. Like I wasn't like looking for snacks last night. I came down, I was sorting. The great sort is what we're calling today's show, just because I was sleeping in this morning and couldn't think. I actually sat here for a second. I got the stream ready before I took a shower. Now, normally, actually, if I was working and I've talked about this being tardy before, if I was working in radio, I skip the shower. I brush my teeth, get dressed, race to the radio station because you got to be on the air. If you're in the office, like it doesn't matter if you're late. I could take the whole day off, and it depends on the day. Some day it depends on what happens. If one of my truckloads hits a bridge and shits all over the highway, that's a problem. And then that's when I get calls. That was my old job. It's like, fuck it. I'll take a shower. I'll just be a half an hour late. I'll go about my day. And I didn't. And I've shared this story. I had a coworker. I won't name his name. He's not watching. But he had like and I think he was probably on the spectrum. But he was obviously able to do his daily stuff. But he called at like 6:20 one morning. And I think we were short. We were going through a transition, a sale transition. So I think we were like at half staff in our station. And so I was one of the only people in the building at 6:20. And he calls in. He's like, hey, I'm going to be late for work today. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. He's got to take his car to the shop, or he's got a dentist appointment or doctor's appointment. He's like, I overslept. I'm like, overslept? It's sick. I'm like, hey, it's only 6:20. And he didn't have to come into the office. He wasn't he was a sales guy, not even an on-air guy. I'm like, hey, it's only 6:20. And he's like, I know, I overslept. I'm like, oh, okay. What time do you think you'll be in? Oh, I'll probably be 20 minutes late. And I'm like, 6:20. He probably has his alarm set for 6. He's 20 minutes late. He's going to be in at 8:20. Sure enough, 8:20 on the dot. He's in because he has this like strict routine. That was like my first, like, not everybody's the same. Not everybody thinks the same, right? So I don't know if I've ever shared this story. Same coworker back in my radio days. He had a sales he had a meeting with a client at a restaurant, and it was in like the next town over. And he comes back, and my office was near, kind of up front, near the front desk and all that. So he comes in, knocks on my office, and he's like, "Hey, can I run something by you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "So I was at a meeting today." Like, okay. And this whole conversation went into somewhere I had blew my mind. So I'm like, okay. He's like, "So the waitress left." And I'm like, "The waitress left?" And I'm thinking, maybe the waitress got pissed off and said, "I quit," and left. Like, oh, okay. That's unique. Well, what's up? He goes, "Well, the waitress left." I'm like, "I know, that's weird." And then what? He goes, "Well, I couldn't pay." Like, what do you mean you couldn't pay? "Well, my waitress left." Like, "Well, don't they have like a cash register where you pay?" "Yeah, but my waitress left." You didn't go to the cash register and say, "My waitress left. Can I pay my bill?" He's like, "No, my waitress left." I'm like, I know your waitress left. So you left without paying. He's like, "Well, I only had an orange juice." I'm like, okay. I don't think they're going to be upset by you walking out without paying for an orange juice. And I'm like, "So did she like leave? Like, did she say anything? Did she leave?" "Well, I don't know. I never saw her again." I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, "So were you the only person left in the restaurant?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Were there other employees?" "Yeah, but my waitress wasn't there." "So you didn't think to ask one of the other employees to pay for your order?" Okay. So this is where things turned mean. I told a couple coworkers, and I'm like, "Hey, you're not going to believe this story." And one of the coworkers is very artistic, and he's like, let's fuck with him." My coworker Curtis, we'll name him by name, Curtis. Little artistic Curtis. Let's fuck with him. So we devised this fake newscast. And so Curtis was also like he was like the assistant news guy, backup news guy. He would read the news on the radio. So Curtis and this is gosh, almost 20 years ago. So we were still using CDs on the reg. And so he creates this newscast with like real news stories, including like, I mean, he really went to town with this. So he's got like the like top of the hour jingle, whatever we played, and then it goes into the news intro. He leads the story off with like a real news story from that day. And then the second news story happens to be the fake news story about an unknown assailant stealing orange juice from a restaurant in the next town over. I can say Rushville was the next town over. That's where the restaurant was. Now, we had a staff meeting that day. I think this was also when we were in so I was not I was kind of in a management. I was a sports director, but I was like third or fourth on the totem pole. So I was reporting to people. And at least one of those people I reported to was in this room and in on it. So it wasn't just, I'm not taking the fall for this. if he's in therapy over this fake news story. So we have this staff meeting. Actually, no, it wasn't even a staff meeting. I think it was a birthday. I think it was somebody's birthday. And I think we were bringing in like cake anyway. So we were getting together for a birthday cake. And so it was a very like laid back thing. So we had this all planned out. I'm going to name Kyle. Kyle was also a coworker. And so Kyle's cue was there was like a trigger word in the newscast. By the way, we had so this is a radio station that I was working at. So we had this room, this big like lunchroom, conference room, you know, the coffee pot was there, the pop machines were there, the fax machine. This is again 20 years ago, not quite, but between 15 and 20. It would have been between 2004 and 2007, so damn near 20 years ago. So fax machine we were still using. So there was a trigger word in this Rushville orange juice theft story that Kyle. So we had a boombox in this room to monitor the radio stations. So like if you didn't hear anything on the boombox, that means your station's off the air. So it was basically this boombox was a monitor. This is Macomb, Illinois. We had to ragtag things together. So Kyle gets this trigger word, and he's like, hey, listen to this. And it worked perfectly. So Curtis makes this fake news story. I think we had this particular gentleman who we played the prank on. We had him go get the cake, like from the front desk. And that was when we put the CD into the boombox. We hit play. Adam brings the cake. Oh shit, I just said his name. He brings the cake, and the news plays, and then the second story hits. Kyle goes, hey, weren't you in Rushville? And so we turn it up, turn up the story. And Curtis has this like elaborate, like, and it sounds legit. I mean, he's a news guy. It sounds legit. And like identifies. And so the person that we were pranking, I still feel bad, although it is a funny story. He drove, I don't know, whatever car he drove. What was popular 20 years ago. So all of a sudden he like we all perk up and like, hey, weren't you in Rushville this morning? Weren't you at that rest? Deb and Dies, I think was the rest. Weren't you at Deb and Dies in Rushville today? And he's like, yeah. And all of a sudden he's like, and like more and more stuff comes out. And he's like, I think they're talking about me. I think they're talking about me. Oh my God, I think they're talking about me. And he's like freaking out. It's like there became like there became that to all of a sudden, this isn't as funny as it was. Oh shit. He's not laughing. He's not laughing at this joke. This is not funny anymore. And that's how it's not funny. He ended up leaving for the day, kind of like he left without paying for his orange juice. This is the thing for him. So he left, and he came back like an hour later, and I think he called his mom or something. I think he called like a family member and explained everything. And I think they said it's a joke, like just laugh. I don't know what they said. I'm just making things up. But so he came back, and he was in, like, I knew at that point, like, we went too far. And it was no longer funny. We can laugh about it 20 years later, but at the time it was like, okay, no more jokes on this person. So that was a story. And so he came into my office, like, I don't know, later that day or like the next day. And like, he was laughing, but I could tell he wasn't laughing. He was fake laughing. Like he was trying to fit in, like, ha ha ha, you really got me. And like, I knew we went too far. We went too far. But it was funny for a short period of time. So I think he actually did go back and pay for the orange juice. I think he did go back and I think we kind of I think he sat down with a couple people and I because he didn't intentionally steal orange juice. Like he just didn't know what to do in that scenario. And so once, he talked to a couple people, it's like, okay, if that happens, here's how you should handle it. Like find another employee. You don't need to pay that waitress or wait for that waitress. You find another employee if you have a question or if you need to pay a bill, and then they will help you out. So, and he's doing good. He moved out of state probably because of that prank. No, he actually stuck with the radio station for quite a while. I think he actually was let go. And he had a pretty long leash. I think he worked for us for a couple of years, but he's doing well. I think he's in the medical field, maybe. He's in another state now, but he's doing well. Hopefully he's not traumatized from the radio station prank 20 years ago. So that's a little background on me being an asshole. What's up? Happy Tuesday. I did a lot of sorting yesterday. I did a lot of shipping, did a lot of sorting. I even watched some wrestling last night, watched a little Monday Night Raw. It was because I did watch the Royal Rumble replay. I didn't realize I watched basically the whole Royal Rumble on Saturday night. I didn't realize the women's Royal, there was only 4 matches. There were 2 Rumbles and 2 matches, I think. Might have been 3 I think there was 3 matches in between. So they sandwiched the Royal Rumbles with matches, which I like because there was 1 or 2 years where the Royal Rumble went 6 hours. Like they had a pre-show at 4 and the Rumble went until 11. So this seemed like it was at least not as long. So I did watch the replay. So I just fired up the Royal Rumble and I'm like, oh wait, I watched. I just figured I was in it started an hour into the Royal Rumble. I didn't. So I just had it on in the background as I sorted. And the men's Royal, it was good. It was a good show. It was not great. I don't think I'm going to rank any modern wrestling as great just because it's not the same as what I grew up. Great would be stupid characters and what I grew up with in the 90s. It's just wrestling's different. It's changed and I need to accept that. And I haven't quite yet accepted the fact that pro wrestling is a little different than what I grew up with. But it was good. It wasn't bad. And I don't watch wrestling enough to when Jade Cargill came out. And this is what I don't like about modern wrestling is social media, because we know everything. Even if you don't go look for it, boom, it's in your face. There's no more kayfabe. And so that's what I miss about wrestling is the dirt sheets. You would have to go out in 1995, you would have to go out and seek rumors in magazines and dirt sheets and newsletters. And now it's you just go to Twitter and boom, it hits you in the face. Well, this wrestler is coming to this federation. So I did watch the Royal Rumble as I was sorting yesterday. Max is in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Shane is here. Good morning. Ryan Sells in the house. What's happening? Good morning. David, what's up? Brian Wolf's in the house. Peter's here. Good morning. Steel Cards in the house. Philly Joe is here. What's going on? Joe Trotto, Victor, Red Light 34, Kyle, good morning. Bill Simus, what's up? Dan is here. Donald is here. Good morning. Double A Cards in the house. Dan says only when the alarm doesn't go off or it's the weekend and I think I'm late for work. Yeah, man. I was late for work this morning. I'm going to get docked. Corey Garcia is in the house. Good morning. Art Green, what's up? Woke up to a 41 card order. My delight turned to horror Trying to find all of the cards due to my shit show organization. Yeah, man. The more you scale up, if you're in volume selling, and I know a lot of us here are, you've got to get that taken care of. And the good thing about getting organized is you can start right now. And you don't have to go back. The good thing about just starting now, say you have, fortunately for me, I probably started getting my organization down to where it is now at, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 cards, maybe even more than that, maybe 8,000 cards. But I didn't go back and reorganize. Like I still have, like I've got a couple 800 count boxes of like random cards that I've listed from my phone that I just didn't put in a SKU. I've got my old setup where like some of my older baseball, up until like 2021 is sorted by year and product. My football, the football that I've had listed for a while is still alphabetized by player. So I just keep that as is. And then, once I started, now I start the organization. Now, every once in a while, I will take a pile. Like because usually when I list, if I have like, I've got to list this from my phone, Stetson Bennett, because it can't go through the scanner. I'll list that from my phone. And then that just goes, it doesn't have a SKU. I don't know. So basically that's just going to go, I'll put that in a pile. And when the pile grows, I'll start alphabet, because since it's football, it goes into the BE. So the good thing is start now. What works for me is box 1, tab A. And it doesn't matter, it can be a small box. It doesn't have to be, 5 rows or 4 rows. It can be a 2, 3 row, 800 count. If you're working out of 800 count boxes, organization probably not as necessary, but still, more organized you are, the faster it's going to be. So there's multiple ways to do it. And I would say if you're not organized with your inventory, get organized. Start it now. Johnny M, good morning. Johnny B, good morning. Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy's cards. Johnny M, Johnny Boy. Boston Smokes in the house. Christian is here. Brian says, good morning. What is sorting? Never heard of her. It's a pain, man, sorting. Like, I'm just sorting. And it's like, Jesus, this is never going to end. And then once I get sorted, I've got to count, because I'm not counting, because I'm sorting 20,000, 25,000 cards. And so now I've got to go back and I've got to sort. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to scan these in, and then I've got to know how much of each player I have, because each player, it's going to vary how many cards. So I got through my sorting last night, and then I started counting, and I'm about 20% of the way through that, which, I've just got to count to 20. I've got to count 20,000 cards. But that goes much quicker than actually sorting the cards. Brian says, you will love card show I'm doing this weekend. Doors open at 9. Buyers arrive by 7:30. Half the dealers leave at noon. Show ends at 2. I'm not a fan. See, I like doors open at 9, buyers arrive at 7:30, but I don't like dealers leaving at noon and shows ending at 2. See, I'm a fan of doors open at 9, buyers arrive at 7:30, dealers stay until the end of the show. Because there are late arriving people. Johnny wants to know, is this Fishkill, New York? Did I say that right? Is it Fishkill? Or is it some weird pronunciation that I don't understand? Mr. Archer, what's going on? Good morning. Brian says, dude, they murder folks for stealing OJ in Rushville. Yeah, he's lucky. Sports card ripping teacher says, I like the fake newscast. I feel they usually come and tell you there is a shirt change, which is code for please cash out with me and someone else will take care of you. Probably, yeah. That's usually the case. JW, what's going on? Flawed Thinker, good morning. Donald says in Rushville, they might shoot you for not paying for OJ. See, Brian knows. Donald knows. Don't fuck with Rushville, man. JW says, definitely time for me to organize my cards again. The ones I have to sell on eBay and my PC never seems to end, but usually enjoy it. I enjoy it sometimes. Like when I'm organizing 20,000 2022 Bowman Draft, I get tired real fast. If I'm organizing like my Cubs, like my personal collection, that's fun, although there comes a time where it's like, okay, I'm getting tired. But that's the good thing about a hobby is with my organizing my Cubs stuff, like there's no such thing as hobby burnout. When I'm organizing my Cubs collection and I get tired of it, I can stop and I can restart whenever I want. If it's my job, if it's my eBay inventory, and if I get tired, that's a horse of a different color. And it's like, I either need to take a break or rethink my business. Maybe I should go back to the office if that ever happens. But that's the difference between a hobby and a job. Collector's Dream, good morning. Shane says fake newscast is great. I guess I'm an ass because I would not have felt bad. I would have told him, don't be mad because we thought of some funny shit. Bill says, anyone in here ever go to the Countryside Sports Card Show in Illinois? According to TCBD, there's a show there this Saturday, but I can't find any information on it anywhere. Let's see. I was actually a few promoters and I were a couple promoters and I were talking about the Beckett Card Show calendar. It sucks now. I have to, and I thought so. When I book my date, when I schedule my dates, when I get the contract signed, because I made that mistake once where they like, yeah, you can have this date, and I start promoting it, and then they come back and they're like, oh, we already had a contract for that. So now I wait till the contracts are signed before I promote. So when I get them, so when I got my dates for January, February, March of this year, sometime in like October, I went to Beckett, and it's a pain in the ass. You can't just go to Beckett.com and click card show calendar anymore. Does anybody know how to find it at Beckett.com, the new Beckett.com? I can't. I have to Google it. I don't even think it's a part of the new Beckett.com because when you Google the Beckett Card Show calendar, it looks like the old website. Actually, yeah, like the very top kind of looks like it. Anyway, Illinois. So we were talking about that, and I thought, well, so somebody on the Facebook ad said, hey, I can't find this in the Beckett calendar. I'm like, shit. I looked, nope, it's not on there. So I had to get them added, and they are showing up now. But a couple other promoters were talking. They have the same issue. They're like, yeah, I have to Google to find the Beckett calendar now. And yes, I've also had trouble with it. What were you saying? Countryside. I don't think I'm familiar with the Countryside show. I'm on the Beckett calendar. Is that where you saw it? There's Bridgeview, Warrenville, Are there two Bridgeview shows? No, looks like they're all the same. I don't see Countryside on the Beckett calendar. But I don't know anything about Countryside Sports or Countryside Sports. I see Cross Country Mall. I was looking at Countryside, Illinois. I don't know if Countryside, Illinois is the same. There's a card show in Coal City, Illinois. Not seeing anything. On Countryside. Where are we at? Mark says, good morning. I watched the replay of the Royal Rumble. All the storylines were covered, but it was an average show. The crowd was comatose. Punk being injured changes everything. I did notice somebody came out, and it was like, I mean, it's when the crowd is quiet and you come out, that wrestler has no charisma. Like there was, I think it was the Australian guy, Grayson Waller. Is that his name? But there was like no cheering and there was no booing. And you're like, well, that's good. No, that's terrible. You want a bad guy to just get like Dominic Mysterio has freaking heat, man. People hate Dominic Mysterio, and that's what you want as a bad guy, as a heel. This guy comes out, and I assume he's a bad guy. Nobody. It was popcorn break. Oh, this guy's coming out. Let's go get our popcorn. But I did notice at that one point, I don't know if I've ever heard a crowd that silent when a wrestler came out. I'm like, damn. Like, I almost felt bad for the guy. Like, this guy's like, I don't even hear anybody booing. Red Light says, hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Spam Likely says, is your SKU just some arbitrary code that you use? No, it's actually pretty simple. Box 1, tab A. Box 1, tab B. Box 1, tab C. We go on to box 2, same. I just grab a stack of cards, list them. So it does, sometimes I'll grab a stack of Ken Griffey Jr. cards and they'll go in one of those tabs. But for the most part, like, this is probably my next batch, the rest of my stadium club. So so I guess that is like, at least it's a product. But sometimes it's going to be like, I guess for football, like this is going to be a cup upcoming. There's Joe Alt, Bowman Chrome U, Thurman Thomas rookie card, Jake Plummer Fleer Metal, Terrell Owens, Dan Marino, Deion Sanders, Shannon Sharp, John Elway, Brett Favre, all from different sets. I need to throw these away. Keep that. Throw that away. Okay. Art says, I have cards by sport, and it's basically in boxes by date. I added tabs with date SKUs, but I have stale inventory that has been relisted. The new relist date sends me in the wrong location. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. No, you don't want that. So I guess that could be why the date is not good. If that happens, I started with date. The very first, before I knew SKUs existed, I'm like, I think I tried it out with I wanted to track collections. And then I realized the only thing I'm doing this for is just to get a jolly off. Oh, I made this much money on this purchase. It doesn't mean anything. I track my monthly numbers. If I'm in the red, that's bad. If I'm in the black, that's good. And I track how much I make and how much, all that. So it doesn't matter if I spend $100 on this box of cards, and I don't need to know how much I made on that. I just need to know that I'm making money. Right. So that was like kind of my initial, and I would just put it in the title. So it was like, I would title it like, WI01, which meant was Madison Card Show January. And then like my code, like Rockford was RO. This was before the Janesville show even started. So then I would have to do like JA for Janesville. I went to a Woodstock show that year. So it was like WO01 for Woodstock in January that I went to. That like a month. I did that for a month, like the 3 shows I did in January of that year. And then I'm done. So and then I tried A1 and I did that in a title. And I realized I'm like, because it was my first one. So I just wasn't used to it. It's in the title. So it'd be like Stephen Kwan, 2023 Stadium Club. And then it'd have A1 at the back of the title. And so I'm looking through, it's 2023. So I'm going through, this is when it was all sorted by years. 2023 Stadium Club. There's no Stephen Kwan. What the hell? And then, it's A1. So then I'd have to go to A1. Then I found SKU, and I'm like, this is way better. And so then I was starting to do like 04, 01, 22 baseball. And it's like, Jesus, that's just way too much. And then you're looking through all these tabs. Just the way my brain works, our brains work differently. Maybe you walk out without paying for your orange juice. Your brain just works differently. So my brain didn't like that. And actually, I think Paul Carl was like, just keep it simple. Like, just do 1A, 2A, 3A, 3C, all that. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to keep it more, And then I started doing that, and it's like, this is genius. This is, keep it simple. 1A, 1B, 2C, 3Z, so on and so forth. SoCal guy, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Bink Scott's in the house. Do you have the 82 Red Lobster Ryan Sandberg? Yes, I do. I think I have 2 sets. My buddy Herman gave me 1 set. And I think I kept that set sealed, and then I think I opened the other sealed set I had, just so I had it. And then I have some, I think I have 2 of them just from sealed sets. One still in the sealed set, one I opened up. And then I have other Red Lobster, but just like the commons. I have 2 of the Sandbergs. Art Green says, I'll get there. SKU sales make me happy. Hell yeah. Brewing, what's going on? Look at the hops. I don't like hops, but I like brewing. What do you think of ComC for selling? I think ComC is a great platform. It's just not for me. I do this full time, so this is my issue. This is my issue. I understand the economics behind it, but it just doesn't work for me. My least favorite part of my day-to-day is shipping. Well, what's ComC do? It takes away that shipping, but you still have to do everything else. You still have to pick your inventory, send it out, price it. That's probably the second least favorite is if it's stuff that because you can't list $1.50 cards on ComC, just not worth it. So I would love that. But the downside is it's 50 cents a card. And that is the part I don't like. Shane Zager is going to be listening to this, and he hates it when we start talking about ComC because he loves ComC, and I usually misquote or other people misquote ComC stuff. But I don't like the upfront cost. Maybe it's not 50 cents. I think it is. But whatever the price is, I don't like that. I like my free listings on eBay. And if there comes a time when I have to pay for listings, it's going to be a nickel on eBay. So that's what I don't like. And I just don't understand. And I've talked to multiple people, 2 or 3 people that are successful at ComC. And based on what they say, like what you list on there is I just don't get like what you list. And I don't think it's just not for me, but it works really well for others. Same with Sport Lots. Sport Lots is a great platform to use for commons. I find more success on eBay selling some of the same cards. You can make more money on it on eBay. But I get it. So there's positives and negatives to all of the platforms. And when it comes to if I were to, I think I can't even say what, because I don't even know what would sell, what would move on ComC, but there's certainly, I'm going to sneeze here in a second. There's certainly certain, we got a third one coming. There's certainly like, okay, this is a good ComC. And I'm sure there's people out there that do all 3, eBay, ComC, Sport Lots. Those would be the 3 platforms that I would recommend the most. I think there's going to come a time where the Whatnots and the eBay Lives will be another avenue. I think Whatnot, just based on the very little that I've spent on there, if you put the time into it, I think Whatnot, if you can build an audience, and you're gonna have to take some lumps to build that audience, because nobody's gonna find you if you just do a couple sales and you don't lose money, because people aren't going to overpay for cards. So you've got to take some lumps on Whatnot, but I think that's going to be a great platform in the future. So I think they each have, I only do eBay. And there's certainly negatives to eBay. ComC, I think it's a great platform for certain sellers. Sport Lots, I think it's a great platform for certain sellers. I'm just not one of those. Andy Mack says, when I started the Bow system of organizing, I went through my listed inventory and converted it to tabs. I found about 20% of the cards I had listed were somehow no longer listed. That has also happened to me, because I look at all of the inventory that I have that's supposed to be listed on eBay, and I do the numbers, and I'm like, how come I have like 200,000 cards in my inventory boxes, but I only have 110,000 listed on eBay? Now, the good thing was some of the like 2018 cards, I'm like going through and I'm like, how come this Shohei Ohtani hasn't sold? Because I bet this was listed on eBay for $2.50. I had some Topps Chrome that I know I was selling for $2.50 back in 2019 and 2020. And I had like 3 of them. And now and I found them at the perfect time. It was during the boom, and they sold for like $50 each. I had like 3 of them. that were listed in my store at one time for $2.50. I found them at the right time, 50. But then there's others that, like 2017 Bowman Platinum, I'll sell like a 2017 Bowman Platinum card. And I'm like, oh, didn't know this was still in my eBay. I just figured it got delisted somehow. So if I find when I make a sale from one of those like boxes that I know that I've had listed for several years, sometimes I'll look and it's like, oh, this isn't in my eBay store anymore. I don't know how that happens. I can assume, here's what I assume. I never changed, like when item specifics became required for certain things. I'm sure it just I didn't change it. And then they got delisted because they just weren't up to par. Johnny M says, do you ever throw any cards out when sorting? Yes. I usually end up throwing out 50 to 70% of lots away. I only keep saleable cards. So now if you look at my spaces, it looks like I haven't thrown a card away ever. Usually when I get Goodwill pallet, like very rarely do I throw cards away that are like in good condition. And I'm not talking about sellable on eBay. I'm talking about just if I can put this in a bulk lot to sell to somebody. The only cards I throw away are if they're like dinged, and all that. So do I throw? Not too many. Trading card database. TCDB, trading card database. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Countryside, Illinois. There's a lot of show I don't know where Countryside is. I assume it's in the suburbs, but there's a lot of shows in the suburbs. Schaumburg, Woodstock, Orland Park, Joliet, Bridgeview, St. Charles. Oh, that's the one I set up at. St. Charles, Bridgeview, Warrenville, Coal City. Thought there was one other one. Nope, that's it. A lot of Chicago shows. Johnny says, out of the last lot of 8,000 cards I bought, 6,000 of them were actually sellable. I started making profit within 2 weeks of that buy. Very nice. Donald says, I know of a card show in Pekin, Illinois this weekend. Sports Card Ripping Teacher says, Trading Card Database has it at the Route 66 Holiday Inn this Saturday. Oh, that's that must be Springfield. Or maybe not. Sports Card Ripping Teacher says, it's not too far from me. Never been to it, but I'll put a screenshot on the Facebook. Spam Likely says, I love waking up with you every morning. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Matty Ice, what's going on? Good morning. Art says, so long as I add the date SKU, it should be fine in the future. I'm just looking at the date. At the date, eBay says it's listed and going through my stale inventory that don't have any tabs for SKUs. JG says, custom SKU, date posted in team bags, easy peasy. There you go. Johnny says, I'd use the same system, but only keep 25 to 30 cards in each tab. They are sleeved and top-loaded and ready to be mailed when sold. James is digging through my 2020 Bowman. Found my Colt Keith auto, sold in 15 minutes. Yeah, he just signed a big league deal, Colt Keith. So he's in 2020. So 2020 is 2020 Bowman is stuff that I don't think. I don't know what this is. This is a box of Bowman. I think it's 2022 though, or actually no, it's probably 2021. Let's see. No, this is 2020. This is just paper though. Let's see if there's anything good. So far, oh, there's a Bobby Witt, but it's a Mason Wynn first Bowman. That's nice. 2020 Bowman. This is all paper. Reed Detmer's first Bowman. I guess I could actually show the cards, right? Max Meyer first Bowman. Whoever the big names were, I don't know if Dominguez was in this one or if it was Wander. Obviously, those are gone, but anybody that's come up that wasn't an immediately hot seller at release. I'm sure Colt Keith, he's a pitcher. I'm sure he's still in here. Austin Wells. Emerson Hancock. Oh, hey! I didn't pull all of them. Jordan Walker, first Bowman. So I think I was buying, was 2020 the year that I bought? I can't remember. There was a time that I just started just ripping like retail out the ass. It might have been 2020 was COVID. Bowman was delayed. I think it didn't come out until June. I think that was a regular Bowman. Was Jordan Walker in regular Bowman in 2020, or was he in Bowman Draft? Bowman Draft, I didn't start getting a lot until 2022, which I've been sorting for the last 7 months, it seems. JC3, what's going on? Listing and shipping and coffee? Oh my, what's going on? I'm glad you're here. I hope you're still here. There was, and this has been several weeks ago, maybe even a couple months ago, on your live show on the Dollar Box channel, you had mentioned not finding, we're talking about card shows and finding them online. And I think you had mentioned something about when you first started getting back into cards, you didn't know where to look. And so that's exactly what I need to know, where to promote stuff. So right now I just promote, like, obviously on YouTube, the Madison Card Show, Instagram, Facebook. I do paid ads on Facebook, which is huge, and Instagram, obviously Twitter. But that's it. And I've looked into like radio. Actually, they came to me, and it just the dollars and cents didn't work because they assumed I was like getting paid on how many people came through the door. It's like, no, it's free admission. So I make the same amount of money if 10 people come through the door or if 2,000 people come in the door. Now, I want 2,000 people to come in the door, but money's not tied to it. So any type of money I pay you, the radio station, it's a loss it's coming out of my pocket, and I can't recoup any of that. So it just, the math didn't work on the numbers. So, I still like reading the newspaper. Would I subscribe to a morning newspaper? Absolutely not. But newspaper, I would not spend money to advertise in a newspaper. Because it's all about, will you get some people that read it? Yes. But if you pay X amount it comes down to how much money you're paying. So like my question would be, where are people looking? Like, and I'm not looking for people that are in this chat. Like, where would you look? I know where you look. I know where to find you. I need to find people that are on the fringe. And it's kind of like Fanatics, 10Xing the hobby. You're not going to 10X the hobby by catering to us that are already customers. You need to get 9 times the people that are not buying cards, or maybe they're on the fringe. Maybe they have kids, and when they go to Walmart or Target on a Friday night, little Johnny says, "Oh, I want Pokemon. I don't know if Pokemon isn't Fanatics, but whatever, Topps baseball cards." And so those are the people that I need to find, that they may have cards. They may be wanting to get into cards, but they just don't know where to look. We know where to look. We're in the hobby. We know how to search for card shows. We know where to find information on card shows for the most part. But I need to find the people that don't know where to find that. And I think Facebook advertising, paid ads, not just going to the free card show finder and all that, because guess what? If you go to those pages, guess who's looking at those pages? Us, the people that already know where to find the card shows. We need to find the people that don't know where to find the card shows. That's where paid ads, because I'm not targeting. I am targeting baseball cards, Topps, but I'm also targeting Green Bay Packer fans, Chicago Bears fans, and all that. So it's getting people that may not like baseball cards. They like sports. It's like, oh, I'm going to go check this out. Like, I need to find, I need to be their gateway drug to the hobby, right? So I'm just curious where else could a card show promoter advertise or promote that a fringe collector or a non-collector would see it? And that's why Reddit, I started posting in Reddit under the Madison, Wisconsin, just to get local people. And I think that helped. I know I had at least a couple people come in from Reddit next door. So some of those local. But other than that, like, where do you find them? Ooh, Brian with podcast mid-roll advertising. That's something I listen to podcasts all the time. I listen to podcasts all the time. Now I need to think of like what podcasts would that, because I listen to true crime and wrestling. Mainly the podcasts I listen to are true crime, wrestling, and Pod Meets World, the Boy Meets World podcast. And that's it's almost like I want to target non-collectors, but at the same time, you want to target at least an audience that, what are the demographics on true crime? It's a lot. I bet the target demo of true crime podcasts skew heavily towards women who are probably not interested in baseball cards. It is what it is. I know there's a lot of women in baseball cards, but true crime, probably not a crossover. Boy Meets World. Maybe you got nostalgia. It's a 90s show, but it's also national. So you don't want to spend this money on advertising for a Madison, Wisconsin-based card show, and it's only, you're paying for a lot of fluff. You're paying for a lot of stuff that's not. So if I could find like a sports podcast that's regional, Midwest based, but I like that. Paul Carl is here. He heard the bat signal. JC3 says, it just struck me that I never really had pushed ads about shows. I have to search and then subscribe to notifications. Interesting. I never really had pushed ads about shows. I have to search and then subscribe to notifications. And oh shit. Paul says a lot of places have free community billboards, bulletin boards, libraries, Panera, local regional grocery stores. When we first started, kind of like almost guerrilla marketing right there. But I do like I should probably and I realized at the show Saturday I didn't have business. Usually I keep 5 or 6 in my wallet, and I didn't have any on me. I'm like, shit. I had at the show with me, but not on my person. But yeah, that's something that I put. Was it? I think it was my 1 million Cubs project. I did some guerrilla marketing one year at the Cubs convention, and I was just laying them on tables, in the bathroom, on the sink, on the toilet, just everywhere, just guerrilla marketing. And I like at a truck stop, I would the bulletin boards, post it there. So I like that. Bulletin boards at restaurants and all that. That's good. I think Target even has. I think Target, though, is glass covered, so they prevent guerrilla marketing. You actually have to take it to the front desk. But my buddy, so my co-promoter at the time, he's like, let's just put them all. Let's just put our business cards all over the card section at Target. I'm like, I'm not going to do that, but if you want to do that, okay. Unicorn Cupcake says, my buddy who doesn't collect suggested I set up at a gun show. Have like one gun and the rest of the table baseball cards. He said that these people love America and history. Advertise there. That's something unique. I like that. Where's the gun show? Brian says, in streaming services like Spotify. And I guess those are I know Spotify's like regional targeted. Like you can get ads regionally targeted, because I think my Spotify account's still set up to when I was living in Macomb. So I'll get like State Farm agent Alan Thompson. And it's like, this shouldn't be airing on my Spotify in Madison, Wisconsin. Charlie says, local morning news segment would have had me back in sooner. Having something push to me on Facebook or Twitter, local trade lists. I like it. I've reached out, and actually the Madison NBC station I just made a press release. This was during the hobby boom, and NBC ran it just verbatim on their website. But it was more than any of the others. Like none of the others did anything. It's like, come on, this is great. like, I don't know what it is with Madison. Maybe I just need to know somebody that works in media. That's the thing. Like in Illinois, I knew so many people in TV, radio. In Wisconsin, I don't know anybody that's in the media. So like I could get press releases published anywhere in Illinois. Here, it's like pulling teeth. Paul says another cheap option sponsor. This is something I've thought of. With and I have a lot of dealers, obviously, that have kids, and so like I'd kind of want to if one of my dealers has a kid, like a local Madison Little League, and at least there's like that tie-in, like, hey, this coach is a dealer at the card show. But I need to look into that closer this year. I think that's a great option. Madison Card Show Little League team. I wonder if my buddy Mark, because his kids are playing sports. I don't know if they play baseball though. I know they're in basketball right now. What about your local schools? There you go. And see, I think some of these, like, I don't have kids, so I don't have that, like, and I guess that's something like because I think kids are the entry point, like, right? You need to target kids and get them in. But then there's also dad or mom with the nostalgia factor, like, oh yeah, I collected cards when I was a kid. And so you kind of have that, boom, boom. Paul says, guerrilla marketing is still alive and well. My best ROI campaign was a B2B direct mail campaign, and second isn't even close. Down on the farm, what's going on? Are you coming down for the Sports Spectacular in March for Sammy Sosa? No, I'm not. I'll be in Arizona. I'll be down on the farm in Mesa. So yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't planning on coming to the Spectacular in March because I went to the November show and I was pretty disappointed with the selection for what I buy. So I'm like, maybe I'll come next November, just, if the dates work out. And then Sammy Sosa's coming to the Spectacular, but I'm already booked for my hotel's booked, my trip is booked, my car is booked, everything's booked. So unfortunately, hopefully this is like a gateway for Sammy Sosa. I know he's been doing some private signings with Jim and Steve's card shop up in Waukegan. So hopefully this is like he's going to do the circuit. So maybe he'll be at the National in Cleveland in July. So, but no, I will not be at the Spectacular. I'll be in Mesa at spring training. Max, what's going on? Sounds like you need to get out more often. I do need to get out more often. That is the truth. Paul says my first real biz was tutoring, and I got my first clients from those bulletin boards, Craigslist, and standing outside Target during back-to-school sale, introducing myself to moms and giving business cards. I love it. That's awesome. After that, I had more referral business than I could handle. And that's where I'm at with, I don't need dealers, which is good. Now I just need more and more. And I don't need, well, you always need more customers. You always need more money in the room, right? So I need more customers. I mean, it's already cramped. It's already pretty tight in some spaces at the Madison Card Show, but I need to get customers in the door. And sometimes, you could get a customer come in, kick the tires, window shopper, may not buy, but maybe they just come out and learn. Like, hey, but I've heard so many customers walk up, they're like, this is my first card show. This is awesome. I didn't buy anything, but now I kind of know what it's like. Maybe they go to Walmart, Target, buy some blasters. Maybe they go online, they do some research, and next month they come out and they buy some cards. Didn't notice the dates. I'll see you in the AZL. Yeah. So will you be there? Will you be in Mesa? I'll be there March 12th through the 20th. Shane says, do the old printout signs and staple them to the trees on sidewalks and tape them to traffic light posts. There you go. I don't want to take the time to do that. So I need an assistant. Go tape these down to the light poles. I like it. We've got some good ideas. You guys are good. I should probably write these down because tomorrow I'll be like, I didn't write any of this down. So I'm going to write that down. Down on the farm, yes, I'm doing coverage for the breakout series. Very cool. Where did we start? We got some really good ideas here. Where are we at? Podcast. Bulletin boards. Let's see. We got gun show. So basically just, I want to do like trade shows, gun show, flea markets. I need to get out to a flea market. I haven't been to one in a while. Let's see. Where are we at? I'll do another. Charlie says local news. I need to do another press release. Send it out to the news outlets. Maybe somebody will run it this time. Little league teams, sponsorships. I'm going to text my buddy Mark and see if he's doing baseball this year. I do need to keep a better list for direct mail. I need to do giveaways just to capture some information, and I need to target like send email blasts out because I don't do that. So there you go. Okay, we got some great ideas. So thank you. Nice little breakout session of where to promote card shows. I like it. All right, I'm gonna go do some shipping, and hopefully. So I think my goal today is to get everything, all of my 2022 Bowman Draft listed today, all 20,000 plus. Looks like my average per card in there's not all of them are there. No Cubs, no Jackson Holiday, and there's maybe 20 different players that I've already pulled. So maybe 170, 175 different cards over 20,000. So I think when I did the average out, I think there's going to be like 20, 21,000. So I'm going to hopefully get those added later today. Max says, go to some Madison Mallards and Beloit Sky Carp games. So we were only like in month 2 of the Madison Card Show, and I wanted to, for like $500 or $600, you could be the Beloit Snappers stadium sponsor for a game. And so, and I knew when they released that it was going to gain national attention. And so I'm like, like 600, like that's a lot to get that much attention. But we were still so new, and it's like, $600, like we're going to go in the red just to sponsor. I should have, I'm kicking myself, or even doing the 1 million. So it would have been like the Madison Card Show, the Beloit Snappers play at Madison Card Show Field in Beloit. And so like the first couple sponsors like got national, it ran in like USA Today and all that. And I'm like, damn it. I knew it was a missed opportunity. I think the first couple though went for like over 1,000. And then like once it got in, because it was only the first half of the season, I think they ended it in like June before they opened up the new stadium. Then they were going for like 500-600, but there was no like, it was just you were basically targeted to the 800 people in the stands. Whereas those early games, you would have got that exposure, that national exposure, which that's why you're paying a lot more for it. Cody's in the house. Good morning. You should try some of the indoor sports complexes or ice rinks to advertise. That's a good point. That's another good one. Where's my notepad? Sports. Let's just do sports complex. I like it. Shane says, I put business cards on all the bulletin boards at gas stations and grocery stores. Does the YMCA have a board? I haven't stepped foot in the YMCA or any other gym. How do you take table registration collection sign up? Just basically text, email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, basically through that. It's not formal. It's just like somebody sends me a message on Facebook. Hey, how do we sign up? Well, give me your name and give me your money. Name and money, and that's it. Send the sports department a news release during the bedtime after basketball. Some asshat stacked his cards on top of mine at the laundromat in town, so I took his and tacked them behind some other person's sign. Dead time. Do you have a Tidbits newspaper, local free paper that has cheap advertising? I don't think so. We had one in Macomb. I think it was called News Bites. And it was super popular. Super popular. I don't think we have one of those. And at least I haven't seen them anywhere in Madison. But again, I don't get out much. So I'm sure there is something, especially down on campus. Like I've got the university here. Try to target. I don't know. I should get I should hire some college kid and be like, hey, promote this on campus, downtown. I don't get downtown much. That's what I should do. All righty. Now I've got to ship, sort, sell. Ship, sort, sell. Ship, sort. You can't say that fast 3 times. Ship, sort, sell. Ship, sort, sell. Ship, sort, shell. See? It's impossible. Ship, sort, sell. Ship, sort, sell. Ship, sort, sell. Now I can do it. All right. Anyway, moving on. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. Link down at the bottom of the screen. Christian says you should get a college intern. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, that was another, when I lived in a small college town, it was so easy. It was so easy to get, because I had relationships with professors, people on campus. Now I feel like I'm in a foreign country in Madison, Wisconsin, because I just don't know. I don't have the relationships built like I did in a small college town. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, link in the description, 99centcards.com, scrolling on your screen. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I'd say I'm going to be on time, but I might not be. Maybe I won't set my alarm again. We're going to be tardy again tomorrow. Who knows? 7 o'clock Central, usually, unless I don't set my alarm like this morning. So have a great day. Have a great Tuesday. I've got to get the trash out tonight. Tomorrow's trash day. Don't forget. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.